Hello and welcome, F1 race fans. We're here, Elite Aspect F125. Free practice 3 here at Japan. As we're just getting started here. So qualifying coming up in a couple hours after this practice session. We had practice yesterday. Of course, we can look at free practice 1 results. It was Florissant on pace with a 127.645 on the soft compound tires. In a free practice 2, followed up with Joe Animator, and the Ferrari is the fast time with a 127.942. So Florissant very, very fast in the first practice session. With Flatbread and Buell up there, Joe Animator with a 128.283, and then followed that up with a 127.942 in free practice 2. As the drivers are just starting to get out there, as we can see our driver standings, it would be Alberto in the V-Carb taking top spot. Evan Naslin with his win last week in China. He's moved up to 33 points with the other V-Carb of Marcos Olmedo and 24 points, with the Ferrari of Animator right behind, as Evan Naslin is a reserve. Or shouldn't be. Will be moving to a team, I do believe. And if we look at the constructors, yeah, both the Ferraris and V-Carbs are performing nicely. 12 points separates them at the top. We'll look to see what happens here in Japan. On me for 1 second. As if we look back to China, there you go. Edvin Naslin in the Ferrari took the top spot with Owen B. Alberto following second after his win in Australia in round 1. You can still see some points scored there from Joe Animator in the Ferrari, and then also Olmedo in the V-Carb, who scored points there, who finished, I believe, third. Or it was a 1-2 finish at Australia, I do believe, with those two in the V-Carbs. Those are your top 3. Harrison Holmes made his way back through the field after a difficult session in China with different changing conditions. Harrison Holmes made his way back through the field. Yeah, this guy's just getting out there. We got Johnny Carr on an outlap in the Haas. Folkmasters looks like he's starting a lap here on the hard compound tires. Johnny Carr straight to the softs. Poison Harbor and Young Lights representing the Alpines. Florissant and the Aston Martin Ghost still in the Kick Sauber. Marcos Olmedo is in the V-Carb. X-Joe in the Williams. Bundy in the Red Bull. And Seth in the Ferrari. We might have some guys joining during the session. A little bit of a slide down there. Track looks a little not really rubbered in, as there is some cloud cover. So the track probably hasn't raised up to temperature quite yet. As these drivers will be out there putting some rubber down, the track will get better as the session goes on. But the first laps here on the hard compound tires, guys are going to be sliding around a little more. And as you can see, Choice Tires got a good mix. Johnny Carr on the softs, most lots on the hards. And then we've got Poison Harbor, Animator, and X-Joe in the Williams on the medium type. Couple still in the pits. Folkmasters did not set a time. It was Joe Animator in the Ferrari on medium tires with the 131.204, followed by Ghost in the Sauber on the hards with the 132.164. Those are your first times on the board. These drivers are just getting out there, putting in their first couple laps. Very easy to invalidate here. So animators out there improving on those medium compound tires with a 130, 887. Bundy and the Red Bulls at a 131 flat on hards. Ghost coming out of the pits now. Johnny Carr still on the sauce with a 131, 785. Extra on medium, Seth on hards, Bober on hards. Young Lights, Marcos Almeida still in the pits. Forsyth yet to set a lap. Probably will do one here on the hards. Down to 7 through 130R. Into the triangle. $133.2 on the hard compound tires. At least got a lap time in. Poison Harbor through the first. Now through the S's. Yeah, the track doesn't look very rubbered in right now. Looks like there's traction being lost for sure. I don't know if there's weather on the horizon. Maybe my weather guy in the game can tell me. Through Dunlop now. The first of the Degna is very, very fast. Try not to go too wide or you will invalidate. As you see there, there's a yellow flag up front. I think that's drivers just going slow. The animator has done the fastest middle sector. On the brakes, a little bit of a lockup. And a 137.68, so continuously improving on those medium tires. Looks like those have kind of come in their own here in the first 10 minutes. Folkmaster's just not improved, it's just putting in laps on the, as we see, plenty of energy, so probably going to try to push on this lap as Bundy was off through the Degnas there. Next show in the Williams has moved up with a 131.572 on those medium compound tires. Johnny Carr just getting out of the way. Florissant coming through there into the final chicane. Still that rear end. 132.457 on the hard compounds. MDJ has joined in the pits. Looks like was it Bobro who moved up there? Poison Harbor has an invalidated lap. MDJ, Young Legs, Marcos Almeida, all in the pits, haven't come out yet. We see Animator here on the mediums constantly improving as he finishes up the middle sector here. On the power very well there. Might have a good final sector here. Improves again by 0.2 with a 135.56. Constantly improving on those medium tires. So the track must be rubbering in here. As Ghost is just on a 130.3. Folkmasters has dropped to a sub 131 on those hards. Ghost on the hards as well. I think the track is improving as most of these drivers is Johnny Carr setting up for a lap on the softs here. Still a little bit tricky out of that final turn there. Pick up Oval, finishing up the S's through Dunlop here. Taking the 2, decides to go down to third gear. And in the hairpin, takes that middle line. You can take all sorts of lines through that hairpin there. Push spoon here. Very difficult to get both apexes. When you do, you pick up an incredible amount of time, but also very easy to invalidate there as well. Looks like on for a pretty decent lap here is Beau Grill. I think in Preston the Williams last time out as well. Wasn't quite able to do better his time there, but decides to go racing a little bit. I believe Poison Harbor does get out of the way. It didn't look to be on a lap. MDJ is out there on a set of softs. And of course, we don't know what these guys are doing fuel load. If they're doing, you know, what kind of tire they want to run. They may be putting 20-25 laps on a hard here real quick with, you know, 75% fuel to do the middle sector of their race. And see how many laps they can get out of it with, you know, draining from 70 to about 30% fuel to finish a race out. It will be, I'm just trying to figure out tire deg and everything going on. So it should be 53 laps here around Japan. As we were on board with Ghost there, who did do that 130 flat, I believe still on the hard compound tire. Bookmaster's up to a 130.3. So that 130 mediums and hard seems to be where it is. I know we did see some 128s, some sub 128s yesterday. And it's like MDJ is at least going to put in some time. Again, we don't know fuel loads. Morrison still putting in some laps here. As you look at those tire details, yeah, 4, 7, 5, 7, 7. So Johnny Carr's on an outlap. He ran some softs earlier, which is fine, and now may go on a long run with some more fuel. Animator's putting out 8 laps on those medium tires. Extra says he's had enough of the mediums. And we'll finish up with MDJ here on a saw. Wasn't really pushing, so about to start a lap, I guess. It's on the board with a 133.425, but again, I think that was more of a warm-up lap. And of course the track's still rubbering in as we make our way through the change in direction in the S's. It's very, very difficult through there. As we now have a few drivers in the pits thinking about changing their program out. Lots of drivers still out there just running laps. Blazing Onyx has joined. We'll check in on Young Lights as he makes his way through the first corner here. Oh. A little bit off track there. I'll step away for just a minute as we just started here. First 15 minutes going here in pre-practice 1. Lead aspect F1 25. Gosh, this looks like they're putting in some laps. getting some long runs on the tires. Plenty of time here left for free practice 3 for everybody to do their strategies, check these tires out, see how long they'll last throughout the Grand Prix on different tire loads. As we've seen hards, mediums, all being run 7, 8, 9 laps now through the first part of this session. But track doesn't look as sticky as it was yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys evolve and how the track evolves, because it is a little bit overcast, might not be as warm out there, and I'm not sure if there's a possibility of any rain. I would think someone would tell me if there was. But from what I've seen with these drivers sliding around, it does look like they are not as grippy as everything was yesterday. Oh, we may just need a little bit of track evolution from these drivers. And we'll see what happens with about 20 minutes left to go in this session. As we're back here for Elite Aspect F125, round 3 here at Suzuka in Japan. Marcos Almeida put on the hard compound tires and did a 129.509. Goes for the 129.86 on the mediums. Oakmaster's still on the mediums. Looks to be maybe setting a lap. He's got a V-carb to contend with in front there. Got to the apex in the first curve. Might have set him off a little bit here for turn 2. Up through the S's. Took a little bit of curb there. And this is where we've seen the rear end kind of step out quite a bit. Through the final of the S's, and then of course up here through the Dunlop. Looks to be backed out of that lap. Johnny Carr put on the mediums and has improved with a 130.361. Looks like he's letting Ghost by into turn 1 on those mediums. Still got Young Lights on the hards, pushing on. Is that a fresh set of mediums or 15 laps there for the mediums of Joe Animator? As we can look at everyone else as well. Coruscant's done now 14 laps on those hards. MDJ's done 1 lap on these softs. Seth Martin puts on a set of softs and does a 128 flat very early. Still a half hour to go here in this free practice 3 session here for Elite Aspect F125. Round 3 here in Japan. As Marcos Almeida says, I'll go ahead and put on a set of softs and see what we can get out of this as well. And we're just scrolling back down through the drivers, seeing what kind of tires are on. Animator still putting in laps on those mediums. Bundy in the pit. Bovril looks like he's pushing on a set of mediums a little bit, but wasn't deploying too much energy there as he makes his way into the hairpin. Check out second 2 after spooned right before 130R. 112.759. Second up. Nice into the chicane here. Triangle they call it. Does a 135.27, moves up to 8 there in the V-carb. On a set of mediums as well. Bundy. Coruscant's still going on those hard compound tires. MDJ in validation, still 1.5 seconds up. We're down on his previous time. Almeida with the fastest middle sector on the set of softs now. Still 129.5 on the hards, I believe. Comes across the line with a 128.253 up to second from now. Ghost still running on the mediums. Love the change of direction through the S's. Charge up the hill. Through Dunlop. And then now the first of the Degnas. Degna 1. Down the hill into Degna 2. Line up the hairpin here. Difficult braking zone. Again, different lines you can take through that hairpin. They kind of name this 200R. Little right-hander as we make our way into the first of the spoon curves. No DRS on this straight. Looks like Glenlights might still be warming up some tires. Made our way through a lap there. Issue in sector 3, not sure what happened. Bundy looks like he's out, but I thought I saw something changed up top. Coruscant and Animator still just going around. Top 3 into the pit. Spokemaster's on an outlap now on mediums. See how that transpires. It's a little slick in the second half of the S's there. I see not a lot of drivers able to really power down through 5 and 6. As we see Bovero lost control. So Florissant into the pits, 17 lap old hards. MDJ still out there, 5 lap old softs. I don't want to really put a time on the board, but we'll see what we look like after the first sector here. A little wide there coming into Spoon. Very difficult to get right. Had good speed coming out of the final S there, up the hill. As again, drivers are preparing, trying to get as much info as they can for tomorrow race, as it's 53 laps here around the Japan circuit. An entire deg will probably be a major factor. We may see definitely lots of 2 stops tomorrow. Do believe a 1 stop of medium to hards may be doable, but also could be just a little bit out of reach. But we have no idea what the weather's going to happen. We'll see. If you know it's going to be a 2 stop, can you start on softs? You think you can safety cars, BSCs? We never know what's going to happen in the race. I mean, they're still pushing on. He's got 20 laps on those mediums now. Coruscant coming out on a set of softs. MDJ's got 6 laps on this set of softs, and those tires might not last that long. We don't know. Masters improves about 3/10 to a 129 and 184 on the mediums. That's a pretty good lap, I would say. And we've got Seth Marty in the Ferrari. Doing an out lap on softs. 25 minutes still here to go. The animator has improved on a set of mediums. On lap 20. This should be a qualifying simulator. Flat. Nice and smooth. I believe that was Ghost that just improved to a 128.390. Yeah, that rear end is very touchy and wants to step out through there. First sector is right there in front of the Degnus. 15 thousandths of a second. Sorry. Up on his time. Into the hairpin. Takes the bottom line. Stays to the inside of 200R. Make our way into the spoon curves. Again, very, very difficult to hit both apexes. Very, very difficult to not force the power and go a little too far wide. If you set up for 130R coming up the hill, 1.5 tenths up. Didn't cut too much of the corner. Got on the power pretty well here through the final turn. There's a 127.846 to reclaim top spot, stay in top spot. As Marcus Almeida is still in the pits. Ghost set at 128.39. Folkmaster's on medium still. Young Light's now on a set of mediums. Animator finally into the pits. Johnny Carr having an issue out of the final turn on hard compounds. Maybe thought about turning it around. As Williams of Extro still in the pits. Over on softs now coming out. Coruscant on softs. Looks like he's putting in a lap now. Lost a little bit out of turn 2 there. Careful through the S's. Really 6 there that's been a challenge. Through Dunlop here. Careful in the Degnas not to cut too much and go too far wide. Brings it down to third. Gets out of there really quickly, nicely. Sets up for the hairpin. Different lines through there. It's doesn't have to be perfect every time. Avoiding lockups is probably more important into the hairpin. Not too far wide. Able to downshift and keep it in the white lines. Missed the apex of the second spoon. Three seconds up on his best. That could put us into the 128s here. Able to get a little wide there, though. Might have lost. 128.641 moves up to fourth. Second on MDJ as well. 9 laps on those softs. We'll see how long they last. As we got the second V-carb reserve filling in, of course. For O&B Alberto. We watch Bobro up the hill, in through Dunlop, behave in the Degnas, nice and tidy, down to fourth, maybe third gear. Set up the braking zone for the hairpin, nice and tidy through there. Upshift, get on the power. Pick a line, any line. And get ready for a spoon. As these drivers are tightening in, focusing in, getting into a rhythm, finding these apexes. Pretty good looking lap so far here from Bobro. A little late through 130R there, but pretty tidy lap here so far from Bobro. From 128, 135 moves up to second. Ghost coming out of the pits on soft. Florissant on soft still. Might be thinking about running another lap. Animator finally out there on softs. Young Light still running on the mediums. Extras in the pits. MDJ is still out there on those 10 lap old soft compound tires. Ghost on an out lap. Both Marcos Olmedo and Seth in the pits. Both will be in on an in lap after that 128, 135. Florissant is doing another push lap. We'll catch up with the middle sector here. Not an improvement, but only 2.5 tenths down back of his fastest. Didn't cut too much corner there. Into the pits, okay. Oh, difficult pit lane entry as well. A little wide here from Folk Masters. Lots of drivers in the pits right now. I think what we'll do is we'll just hang on for a few minutes. We'll come back with about 10 minutes left in the session and see how these drivers are doing. Lots of drivers in the pits right now. Second here with Young Lights out of 130R, finishing up his, I do believe, a fast lap. Got away with a little bit there. The 128.327 moves up to fourth. Checking on Florissant sector here. 3.5 tenths up. Ooh, touched the grass there on the entrance. And yeah, that's going to sacrifice that lap. May go around one more time. Next show MDJ in the pits. Seth Marty, with the fastest time on a set of softs, is now on a set of mediums. Young Lights is on an in lap. Animator definitely comes into the pits. Let's go with Ghost here. .5 minutes left here for Elite Aspect F1 25. Round 3 here in Japan at the Suzuka circuit. And he's on board with Ghost in the Sauber, making his way up through Dunlop. Very nice, tidy through there. Early apex. They got the car slowed down. About 3 tenths up. Can they get into that 120, sub 128? Very, very close. Through the triangle. To the inside. So close. A 128 flat. 128.034. Is maybe Bobro next across the line with a fast lap? I don't think so. Two Haas out there. Johnny letting everybody by. Folk Masters is pushing on. Let's see what happens after Spoon and compare these sector times. The 129.184. I'm not sure he set that on softs. A little bit late in the Spoon there. Hitting the top of the hill. Not that 110. 111. Keeps it in 8 through there. On the power nicely. Small improvement. We'll go again, I'm sure. This car might be setting up for a lap. MDJ is out there on mediums now. Young Lights on an outlap. Animator might be on one now. Oh, a little bit wide. Commentator's curse took off the front wing there. Great view from the Haas. Got time to make it around, repair that, get on a new set, and maybe go faster. Florissant on an outlap now on a set of softs. Harrison Holmes has joined in the kick Sauber. Interesting, MDJ joined late and is now right in front of his teammate. On a push lap on these mediums. Checking on everybody's tires. It's just getting started. 10 minutes left here. On the mediums, moves up to 9th with a sub 130. That's a 129.657. So good lap there from MDJ. Well, check in on Florison now on a set of softs. No commentator curse here, I hope. Gets it slowed down into 2. Very nice line through there. Finding the grip. A little into the inside there. Able to hold on through. Two tenths up on his best first sector. We'll get it slowed down and turned in nicely there. Very difficult section of the track, not too far. And wind can get on the powers, keep it within the white lines. Getting some slipstream from his teammate here. Beautifully worked by the Aston Martins there. A little bit, lost a little bit there. That's going to be a 127.809 and a fastest of the day for Florissant there. Great teamwork by the other Aston Martin giving the tow into 130R. There's 2 drivers in the pits. Overall has invalidated that lap. I believe Seth and Ghost is on our lap, about to start one, which means Seth might be on one. Doesn't look like it. Maybe setting up for a second one. I'll hit up Ghost. Turn 2 very nicely there. A little bit of wide in turn 1 though. Three tenths back in the first sector there, and an invalidation. Young Lights on an outlap, Animator on an outlap. Oakmaster's into the pits again. MDJ, Johnny Carr still in the pits. X-Joe, Harrison still in the pits. Florissant coming into the pits. Seth Marty into the pits. Overall is on and in lap. Animator is starting a lap. Unfortunate. Through the S's, got the house behind him who is on outlap. Ghost just start a new one. As did Young Lights. Ghost in front. Whoa, excellent control. Backs out of it. Animator is not on a hot lap. Ghost cannot be on a hot lap. Lots of drivers in the pits. Car on an out lap. It's fast early on. And then did a long run. So it hasn't really set a time as way this track is rubbered in now. Took a little too much inside curve there. That's going to kick you out. Absolutely. Almost like you don't want to touch them. Oh. I think I might be glitching with Johnny Carr here, so. Everybody into the pits. Can EBR Seth and the Ferrari improve on that 127.846? And he's on an out lap on the softs. It'll be the first of the last put in a lap. I expect to see everybody would have retired by now. Or they're all putting on a set of softs and waiting for that one final quali sim lap at the deck. We do see a Ferrari and a Red Bull coming out of the pits now as well. Got the Haas of Johnny Carr in front of this Ferrari, as well as the other Haas of Folkmasters on an out lap, just ahead of Animator in the Ferrari. As we're on board, riding with EVR Seth Marty, who sometime early on set that fast lap. We're making our way through the S's here. On board with EBR Seth Marty, reserving the Ferrari. Maybe got a seat. We'll see. We've had some change, which is okay. Able to keep it in the white lines there just barely. Decided to back out. We're now on board with Folkmasters in the Haas, who does have pace. A little wide there coming out of the final S section. 6 and 7 there. Oh, and hit some curb and lost the rear end. Able to keep control of the car back on track. Going to be able to live and fight another day. Decided to retire from the session. As we've got the V-carb of Bovrill, another reserve driver. I think reserves get points for attending sessions. They also get points anytime they race, whether it's sprint, qualifying, anything like that. Make our way in the first sector here. 500's up. Has some traffic in front. That needs to get out of the way. They do. Able to set up for the hairpin. Now we're seeing lots of drivers on out laps. It's going to be it, I think. Both the Salvers are on out laps. DJ's on an out lap. Catch up with him. Needs to get across. Is this Animator's final push to the line? 128.113. Bovo comes across with a 127.997. Tomato, who expected to be quick, isn't going to be able to post a time. Young Lights makes his way through Spoon up to 130R. He's got an Aston Martin in front, cuts the corner there. Been on board with Harrison Barnes, who hasn't put in a lap yet here today. Joined very, very late. We know he's very, very quick. There's plenty of pace. That's a really good middle second sector. We may see him top the charts here. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, cuts a little bit too much of the corner there and loses it out of the end there. That would have been a really, really, really nice time. As Forson take tops honors in the Aston Martin here around free practice 3 for Elite Aspect F125. Round 3 here in Japan around the Suzuka circuit. As we'll get ready for qualifying in just a little bit under an hour, I believe we'll get started. And should be good to go. But I do appreciate you guys joining for this one. And this is Elite Aspect F125. There's your honors for free practice here 3 as we're wrapping up. So come and join us again. We'll be back with qualifying here in Japan in just, like I said, just under an hour. Full qualifying, and should be very, very interesting to see how the drivers get on, especially with those 120 sub 128s we were seeing out here today in free practice. So stick with us, and we'll be back for another one in